Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you an updated bronzer, blush, highlight routine. Just basically what I do after I have my foundations and powders and eyebrows on to prepare for the rest of my face. I don't ordinarily do much sculpting. I don't ordinarily spend that much time on sculpting my face, but there are a few things that I do that I think really enhance my features and kind of slim my face down and maybe shrink the size of my forehead a few inches, maybe not. But anyways, I thought that I would show you what I do in case it might be helpful to somebody who's just getting started. I want to go ahead and just start with the tools that I use in order to do this. I'm doing each of these things, these little foundational elements, in one video at a time so people could specifically look for what they're actually wanting to learn about. And so as far as brushes are concerned, I start off with, today I'm actually going to contour. Most of the time I don't take the time to do that unless I have an extraordinarily long amount of time to get ready, which is very rare. But whenever I do that, I use a Morphe Y9, which is a real kind of loose, it's a probably a blush brush. I don't really know what the actual purpose. I use brushes for whatever I need them for. But I use that along with Chocolate Soleil bronzer by Too Faced. I've had this sample for a long time, and I've just recently, probably a year, and I've just recently hit pan. I use this because it's a cooler color and it's a good contour color for me. And so I use that for contour, and I really usually just sculpt out my cheekbones and my jawline, mostly. From there, I use my Real Techniques multitask brush. This is a fluffier brush, and you can see it's used, but I use that for bronzer, and I ordinarily use Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. I have a few others. I like Hoola and Hoola Light combined by Benefit. There's a few others that I like, but in general, I use this one with this brush. From there, I will go in with highlighter. I usually use two different kinds of brushes. It just kind of varies what mood I'm in or whatever's clean. I have this fan brush, and this is from Smashbox. There's all kinds of different brands of these. I use a fan brush, or I use a Morphe M510. I'm blind. Yes, a Morphe M510, which I'm sure you've seen a lot of people use these for highlights. Sometimes I'll use both. Today I'm going to use Ofra Rodeo Drive. This is one of my favorite highlighters. I use this almost every day because I just like it that much. And for blush, I always use an angled, they usually call these contour brushes, angled contour brushes, but this is a Morphe S13, and I just really like the fluffiness, I like the shape, and you'll see how I use those, obviously with various blushes. Today I'm going to use Instain by the Balm in Houndstooth. So I'm actually preparing my face to do an actual eye tutorial, and so I just thought I might as well film these and show you guys the steps that lead up to that. Okay, so let's get started on sculpting my face, or how I prepare my face for the rest of everything, which makes zero sense, but okay. So I'm going to start off with the Chocolate Soleil, and this is how I do contour or sculpting, and it's really simple. I don't do much. I go in really lightly and blend it a lot. So I start off with this brush, and I just put a little product on there. I don't go in too heavy, but I start right at where my little hairline is, right at the base of my ear, right where I can see the hollow of my cheek, and sometimes I'll suck it in if I need to. I know where it is. So I just start here, and I just kind of pull down and go back and forth and kind of put a line there. I'm sure you can see it. Put a little line there. And I go about midway down. Some people go all the way down. I don't like the way that looks on me personally. So I put a line there, and then I just start going around in circles and blending that out. And it will get blended out further whenever I do my bronzer. The bronzer kind of blends everything out a little bit better. But I just keep going back and forth there. And you can see, and I don't know if you can see the difference. I always think this looks a little bit more sculpted because it's really showing you where my cheekbone is. I'm going to go through and do that on the other side. And I start just going back and forth, and then when it's time to blend, I start going in little circles. You just don't want that line to be harsh and obvious. You just want it to be a shadow. This brush is freshly washed and it's a little stiff. But that's about all I do for a contour on my cheeks anyway. Now I do the same thing with this same powder. I start at the base of my ear, the lobe of my ear, and just go along my jawline, right on the actual jawline. And I put the product down, and then I go around in circles to blend it. And the same thing is going to happen when I do the bronzer. It's going to further blend this out. But it really chisels your jawline, which is very slimming if you have 14 chins like me. It's really cool as I'm losing weight to see some of these bones really emerging that haven't been very prominent before. And if you want to get really extra, you can go along the hairline with that, doing the same thing. And I do have a giant forehead, and I do wear my hair back all the time, so this is probably something I should be doing. But I kind of just do it with the bronzer. But today, I want to show you. Some people contour their nose. If you wanted to go that route, I just go down the outward contour of my nose. I don't get real technical with it because I'm not that good at it. But if you want to do that and just kind of go along the outer edges of your nose and kind of contour that, can do that too. So that's about the extent that I do with the contouring, and that's a step that's very rare for me. Like I said, I ordinarily don't have time for it. So let's move on to bronzer. Again, I use the multitask brush from Real Techniques. This is part of a set, but it's worth buying the set just to get this brush. It's perfect for me in bronzer and the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. If anybody wonders if this is worth the hype, it is. It's just a perfect color. It smells like delicious coconuts. It's just soft and smooth, and it's just perfect. When I bronze my cheeks, I kind of pinch this brush and I go right along the edge, right where I contoured. But I go in larger circles where it covers a little bit more and goes up on my cheek a little bit. So I start like this, and I just go around in circles, and as you can see, that's what I meant by further blending out the contour. And then I go up around my hairline in little circular motions, and then along the edge of my nose, pinching it again. And then I do the same thing on the other side. Also, right here under the lip, if you'll put a little darkness there, it'll plump out your lip. And I go right here because that's where I have something I want to be reseated. And then around the chin line, just big circular motions, big circles. And then maybe I'll just kind of, with whatever's left, go back through and blend some more. And that's it for the bronzer. All right, next I go in with highlighter. And the reason that I do this first is because I feel like if I put the highlighter on first, when I go in with the blush, it kind of blends it out where it looks a little bit more natural. Like I said, I'm going to use the Ofra Rodeo Drive highlighter, which is one of my favorites. You can see that it's been well loved. I've made a dent in some of the pressed on shape. But I'm going to start with the fan brush, and I'm going to go on the highest points of my cheeks with it. And I just kind of go back and forth with it. Ooh, I got happy. And then circles. I got real happy. And then I'll go up around here, kind of in a C motion here. And I just kind of feather it up my forehead a little bit. I don't want my forehead to be real shiny, but I kind of want this all to be tied in together. Then I do the same thing on the other side. Like that. And then I go in on the tip of my nose, and I don't have a little round tip of the nose like most people do, so this probably looks crazy, but I do it anyway. The Cupid's bow and the chin. Chinny chin chin. And then I just go back through and add some where I think I need some. Then I use my ring finger and I just kind of dip into it. And I like to go right here on the bridge of my nose. This gives such a nice little shine when you turn your head. And then I stop there. If you like the other brush, I don't really want to put on more because I put on a lot. But you can just go in with one of these brushes and just put it where you like it. However you like it. At this point, I put on the blush. And like I said, I use the angled contour brush or angled blush brush. They have different names, and this is a very pigmented blush, so I just barely dip in. And I start right here, and I just kind of go in between my contour and my highlight. And I go around in circles, back and forth, until I feel like I have, I don't really like to go on the apple of my cheeks like most people. I just like to accentuate my actual cheekbone, which is kind of high. And as you can see, as I'm doing this, it's blending out the bottom of the highlighter. And then I take a look in the mirror, and I kind of go overboard with everything to begin with. When I'm doing my foundation and I'm setting my foundation, I use a big fluffy brush, and I leave a little bit of powder on there so that whenever I get done with all these steps, I'm going to go through with this big powder brush and just kind of blend everything together, and then maybe go back with a little bit more of highlight, and then I'm done. So I'm going to do that now. And as you can see, it just kind of chills out the highlighter a little bit. It chills out the blush a little bit and just kind of meshes everything together. After that, I ordinarily put a little bit more blush back on, just a little bit. And then maybe go over the high points of my cheeks one more time just to make sure that at least my cheek highlight really shows. That's where I really like to be highlighted the most. I like that to be the standout. So it's kind of like doing the eyes. You just kind of put it on, blend it out, put it on, blend it out until you find a combination that works for you. So at this point, I always, before I start doing my eyes and lips, I always set my face. I set it twice, but after all this foundational stuff is done, I like to set it with a dewy finish setting spray because everything looks real powdery right now and a little bit dry, and I think this takes care of that. One that I've really been liking lately is the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. So I'm going to do that. Spray it all over and set everything in place. And then I use my fancy Japanese fan to dry it. And that's it. As you can see, that really softened things out and it just kind of melts everything into your face, and it gives you a really good beginning for the rest of your makeup. Yeah. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. As I said, I did a foundation video. I also did an eyebrow video. This is the third and probably the last as far as foundational stuff is concerned, because I just kind of wanted to give an updated routine of the things that I'm doing the way that I do it now. I did do a series called 101. I did all the foundation 101, all those kind of things, and I'll link that playlist down below. But some of those things kind of have evolved, and that's the reason why I decided to update the routines. So that's what I'm doing here. But I hope this was helpful for you. Check out the other videos if you think those would be helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, take care and God bless. Bye, guys.